Welcome to the Positive Spiritual Living Podcast, brought to you by Unity on the Bay. This is your positive path for spiritual living.
Joining me on the platform. These individuals have seen Unity on the Bay through a long period of time, and they're going to share with you their recollections of good times and changes and all manner of things that have taken place in their association with this magnificent and powerful place that we call Unity on the Bay. Please join me in welcoming to the platform Veronica St. Alban, Serena Joaquin, Jose Arevalo, and Aaron Moore. And you all look spectacular this morning. Thank you for joining me up here today and being a part of this experience where, as they share their memories, I invite you to open your mind to be stimulated to the greatest times you've experienced in this community. For it is important as we move through times of change to recall that which can never be taken from us, and that is the loving, the peaceful, the transformative recollection of our own affiliation with this amazing place. And we're going to start, look who's here right by my side, the exemplification of everything that I believe this Unity teaching is about. And she just celebrated, may I say?
Sure.
Because no one will believe me if I tell them. Her 80th birthday party was here Friday night. So, sweetheart, one who makes my heart smile every time I see your smile, would you tell us a little bit about, first, when was the year you walked through these doors for the first time, and then what are your recollections?
The year was in 1978. I moved from New York to Miami. And the first thing I did was look for the Unity Church, because I had been going to Unity in New York. So when I moved, I needed my spiritual support, and I found it here.
Just share some thoughts and memories about...
The minister then was Reverend Neil. Yeah. And his wife, Nancy. They were British, and just the sound of their voice was welcome to me, because I grew up in Jamaica where the British people owned Jamaica at the time when I was born. So it felt like home. And we had family ministry. I worked with family ministry then. And I just had a wonderful time being here. Whenever I felt down in the dumps, this is where I would come. And then when he left, Reverend Stanley came. And boy, that man could sing.
Yes, he could. Yes, he could.
Yes, and then we had a great choir, and he was on top of everything, and that was lovely. We enjoyed that. And then when he left, Reverend Cameron came.
Yes.
And he was a Bible man.
Yes.
Okay? Yes.
Scholar.
Yes, he spoke the Bible, and we learned a lot from him, and our spiritual growth went up some more. And then there's Reverend Trapp, and a lot of you know Reverend Trapp. So he was our spiritual leader, and we also had the choir. The choir was always there. People came and went, but the choir was always there, cheering us on, yes. And there were a lot of classes. Whatever you needed for your growth, you could find here. And I also enjoyed Reverend Dorothy's Tuesday morning classes, because I worked nights. I worked 12-hour nights. So I couldn't come to the evening classes, so there was Reverend Dorothy's Tuesday morning class. that I could come to after work or whenever. And I enjoyed those, and her meditation was awesome. And she would let us do exercises before the class that made you feel better. If you wanted to sleep, they would wake you up. So that was wonderful. And what else? Oh, the prayer ministry. Oh my God. That's where I did most of my growth when we started the prayer ministry. And I became a member in, was it 99? Reverend Tita. And I became a member of the prayer ministry, and that was awesome. When Reverend Lucette took over, boy, she made me do things I didn't think I could do.
She would do that.
Her favorite word was stretch. Stretch, right? And we would stretch. I walked on broken glass and I didn't get cut. I bent a rebar with one end here, and you found someone you could trust to put the other end there. And you walked toward each other, and the bar bent. I did that twice. I didn't know I could ever do anything like that. I walked on fire, and I didn't get burnt. And the last thing we did was the sweat lodge. Man, if you have ever, I don't know if any of you have experienced being in the Indian sweat lodge. Oh, I thought I would never make it out, but I persevered, I stretched again, and I made it out. And they had wonderful food for us when we came out. That was the best part, to replenish all the nutrient that we had lost sweating in there, you know. Yes. So I really enjoyed the prayer ministry, and I learned an awful lot, and I grew a lot spiritually. And there was a time when I would never be up here, sitting down in a crowd like this. I would be shaking, I'd be trembling. I'm a little shaking inside, but other than that, I'm stretching, and I'm still stressing. And when we leave this building, I'll be stretching some more, because I have to say goodbye to this wonderful place that has meant so much to me. My children came here. They grew up in this church. My grandchildren, now I have great-grandchildren, and they're here too. And it's just been a wonderful life this church has provided for me.
Thank you, sweetheart. No, you didn't. I just want to tell you something. I've been affiliated with this movement, as you probably know, for all of my life. And while I have heard many people wax eloquently about these teachings and about the intellectual aspects and even the spiritual aspects of this work, from the moment that I met you and to this moment right now, I have always seen a woman who lives this teaching. And I'm deeply grateful for your presence, not only in my life, but for in this amazing spiritual community. Thank you, Veronica.
And I'd second that. Thank you, Sister Veronica, and happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And good morning again, everyone. I feel honored to be up here and having been asked to share with you this morning. Thank you, Reverend Chris. I remember the first time a friend invited me to Unity on the Bay in 1997. He said, "Serena, you have to come to this really cool church." So that Sunday morning when we came, James Strapp was speaking and Nicole Henry was singing. So you know he was right. No, with that powerful combination, with the powerful combination of the music and the message, I knew I had found my spiritual home at this really cool church. And soon after that, I took the 4T Prosperity Program about tithing your time, talent, and treasure. Many of us here remember Stretton Smith's 12-week program. And after that, I was asked to join the choir. Now, Sister Veronica went through a wonderful history of the choir, but in 1997, the choir was nothing like you see and hear today. There were very, very few of us, and most of what we did was in unison, with everybody singing the melody to keep it simple. But our leaders had a strong vision, and they set a clear intention for a powerful choir and music ministry. And so it grew alongside the congregation into the choir we have today, now under the leadership of our beloved Dale Stein, wherever he is. And it really is such a pleasure and a privilege for us to share this stage with so many incredibly talented musicians. I mean, our house band is amazing, and we are so grateful to have them. Yep. And the outstanding singers and performing artists who come and bless us with their talents every week throughout the year. We are really so blessed. And as a choir, we really are so proud and so honored to sing for you, our Unity family, on Sundays and at concerts, in special events, everything from weddings to celebration of life services. And birthdays. And birthdays. But we've shared so many wonderful musical memories right here in this sanctuary. I remember when we sang with Jennifer Holliday on this stage, and that was a Valentine's Day concert in 2003. And we've had many other concerts over the years. We've enjoyed a wonderful time together right here. It really has been amazing. And as Reverend Chris said last week, we are taking this music ministry with us to our new location, or our next location, let's say, to continue sharing with you. And yes, we continue to look for new members for the choir, so please come and see us after the service. Had to give us a plug. So I really am so grateful to that friend who brought me here in 1997. I've met some of my closest friends in my choir family. I see a couple of them. We brought them out of the woodwork back here today to sing with us. And of course, also in my wider family in the congregation. I'm very grateful for this teaching, for this ministry, and for our ministers on the platform and on the stage. They've inspired me and comforted me and encouraged me and given me a platform for creative self-expression and growth. And Dale, I thank you for helping me grow musically. I don't know where you are, but I think you can hear wherever you are, and for allowing me to share the songs I write with the choir and the congregation. And thank you all for receiving them with such love. I also want to say thank you. I'm very grateful to the staff we have and all our volunteers who work tirelessly to keep this operation running smoothly. And we know they continue to do that wherever we are. In over 20 years, as you can imagine, I've seen changes in the leadership in the church and in the music ministry. But through it all, the positive, divine spirit-led intention remains the same as we attract loving and supportive leaders like Reverend Chris, Reverend Juan, wherever he is at this moment, our board of directors, and I see many of them here today, and of course, Dale in our music ministry. They really continue to do the best for us and bring out the best in us. And as we go forth from this sanctuary, from this very special place, we know that our spiritual home remains intact and forever in God's hands. We give thanks. We give thanks. I know this is an opportunity for us to practice what we preach about letting go and letting God. So thank you, God, and thank you, Unity on the Bay.
Serena, I just want to take a moment to let you know how much we feel the same blessing that you say you receive from us when you're standing here, because every time you're anywhere, whether it's in the choir or center stage, your smile alone reminds me of the presence of God in this place and in your heart. Jose, 20 years welcoming people to Unity on the Bay at that front door right over yonder.
Good morning, everyone. And I came here also in 1997, so I've been coming here for 22 years. And then I was in the second chaplain's class, and I was also in the second 4T class. And because of the 4T class, one of the things you had to do was service. And my service commitment was actually being a greeter. And so I haven't left. So I am still at that front door. And it's really a privilege and an honor for me to be at the door, believe it or not, because everybody that walks in here has this sparkle in their eyes. I can't describe it. It's one of the few places I've ever been to in the world where it's like everybody has that little something in their eye, and it just makes me happy. Right? I just get so much every Sunday from greeting, and then on top of that, some of your hugs are just amazing. I mean, you guys are some of the best huggers in the world, and I just, I appreciate that. It's like, there. I believe God's presence is really based in love, right? And I just feel that love when it's a handshake or a smile or a twinkle in the eye or a hug, and I think that's what makes Unity unity. It's just what makes this place special. When I came here, there was probably 60 or 100 people in the audience. No one was here. There was one speaker on the ground here. There wasn't all this fancy stuff up here, and one mic stand. And we thought the church would close, but the power of Reverend Cameron and Reverend Trapp at that time to kind of see a greater place, to see this place just being transformed and actually doing the transformation is just amazing. I'm one of the fortunate ones to still be volunteering here and be allowed to volunteer, but there's been hundreds of people who have given their time and effort to be here. And, this building wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for the time, the treasure, and the talents of all the people. And, everything that you see here, somebody gave money for to donate for this carpet, or I remember the ceiling, it used to be white, and the acoustics in here were horrible. And so there was an entire week of putting acoustical foam all the way around this place, and then this black acoustical foam around the roof. I mean, you can't imagine what a huge project that was, and we talked about it forever. And then it finally happens, and everybody just takes for granted the acoustics that are in here. That back where the soundboard is, there was a whole huge debate of taking out 22 seats to put that in. But, it was like all these things, all these major little decisions that we had to make over and over again to make this place what it is. I've been here for so many classes. And I've been here for christenings and weddings and just plain old parties and, just all kinds of events, and especially people making their transition. And I can't tell you how many times I've sat in this audience and cried for the friends that I've had here that have moved on, that are still with us. But I miss them in their physical spirit. But it's just been an amazing place of so many people coming here just to feel God's presence. Sorry. I think the single most impactful event that ever happened for me here was 9/11, the Sunday after 9/11. We had to put extra rows of chairs in here so people could sit in here. We were really concerned that the fire department was going to come in and shut us down, but it got to the point where it was like everybody had to be in here. Everybody was sitting on the floor, on the stairs, outside. You couldn't get into this church. And the news station showed up to just videotape what Reverend Trapp had to say. I don't remember the exact message that he said, but what I do remember was that this building, this place, was like a refuge. It was like a sanctuary. It was like Like the true word is sanctuary. It was like a place where we all came because we couldn't make sense of it. It just happened, and we needed to be somewhere and feel together and feel like we were together. And for those of you who were here, you know what that was like. And for those of you who weren't, you know what it's like to be here on Sunday and feel like you belong, like a home of sorts. You know, and I know we're taking ourselves with us somewhere else. But this is a great home. Wow, sorry. And it's really us that make it the home. And everybody who just came together to just be a part of this. And I'm just so grateful for all of you, for your smiles, your hugs, all the ministers, the music program, everything that allows us to have that glimpse, that touch of God. That, like as Chris says, no one can take that away from us. No one can take away these memories and these connections with some of the best people in the world. So I'm going to miss this place, but I'm also looking forward to our new adventures. Because like all things, right, it's going to be a lot of fun kind of coming up with this new place that we're going to be at. And I just hope and pray that I'll have the opportunity to greet again there as well. So thank you.
Jose, I appreciate that you're expressing so authentically and beautifully what this place has given to you. And I want you to know that every single individual that has ever crossed over that threshold to be received by your presence has been equally blessed. Thank you so much for everything you've given. And the Honorable Reverend Aaron Moore. Yes. Hello, Aaron. Thank you for being here. I love you.
Okay, good morning. Welcome, and I'm really, truly grateful to be here with you this morning. In 1989, I remember having a conversation with someone, and I was talking about my thoughts and ideas on philosophy and religion and that kind of thing, and I was speaking to a lady, and she said to me, "That sounds like unity." I asked her for the address. She told me what time the services start, and I came here. When I came here in 1989, Reverend Trapp wasn't Reverend Trapp yet, and Reverend Cameron was the senior minister here. His talk that day really impacted me as far as hope in my life. I came here with more than 30 some odd years of drug abuse and alcoholism. And I can't tell you what transformations I have made from that time to this day. I came here feeling to the depth of my being that prayer was the biggest waste of time ever. Today, I pray sometimes all day. Prayer is answered. Before you even pray it, it's answered. I don't know why I picked up on that like that.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Positive Spiritual Living Podcast, brought to you by Unity on the Bay, a spiritual community located in Miami, Florida. Unity on the Bay is supported by the generosity of its community. If you'd like to make a donation or learn more about Unity on the Bay, please visit unityonthebay.org. You can also follow Unity on the Bay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for even more positive spiritual inspiration. Until next time, thanks for listening and many blessings. Namaste.